to my art studio. I'm so glad you can make it. Let's go in and create some art. Okay, let's get started. We're babysitting, or puppy sitting I should say, my grandchildren's little Shih Tzu mix, and I thought we would draw this little lady. She's sitting so nicely in this picture, but it did take a little bit to get at this picture. Okay, let's start with her head so we can make sure we get it in the picture. Nice little rounded head, and then a little bit of a triangle. Let's come down straight slightly from her head, cross, and back up. Almost like a right triangle if we extended it up. So let's start with the markings on her face. She has a curved line that goes through almost halfway up this circle. So there would be that white section of her face. The nose is right in the middle of her face. She's looking straight on at us. She posed very nicely. And then her mouth would be right underneath that. So it's a kind of curve at the top and a little straight across there. But let's go ahead and get her eyes in there. And you can almost see a triangle here with her face, with her eyes and her nose. And the eyes are just a little above the nose, right inside that darker area. There, the top of her head, then the little ears start on both sides. The end of it. We will use the negative space right in here. That's going to help us a lot. This one does look a bit like a triangle, but again, the tip of this is about even with this marking, this darker marking. So we'll draw the negative space there, and we'll come back and get the edges and a little bit later, so we can make sure she has fur on her. Her eyes are dark and they're a little bit hard to see, but she actually has a little bit of the white eye of the eye showing on either side. Then there's a little glistening mark right in here. We'll go ahead and do her nose too while we're at it. So also hard to see, but there's nostrils on either side and they're just dark. There's the shape of her nose. It's a triangle. There's a little bit of a darkness right here before you get to the mouth. And the mouth is in there, but really this is dark fur. This is dark fur. And then she has white whiskers, and then the white fur goes past underneath here. So we'll just draw it for right now, and then we can come in later, or maybe if you want to do it right now, you can take your eraser and you can just bring in a few of these white whiskers. Her chin is right underneath here, and her face goes up like this, and it goes up like this. Kind of comes to a little bit of a point right there where the white and the dark mix, right where they meet. Let's draw this negative space on this side of her. So we want her neck to be big enough but not too big because she has a thin neck. So we'll draw this angle. It comes down. And I think the best way to approach this is to draw this tummy area. And it's going to be directly underneath the nose and this side of the face. And actually it's about a little bit lower than the height of the head, but not much. There's your tummy. If you were to do an oval like this, you could probably have done that for your basic shape. You're going to end up doing it anyway. This right here would be the side of the leg, a little leg in the back. So let's go ahead and draw this leg in. It's going to be just in from that edge, just in from the tummy on this side, and there's some negative space underneath the tummy. If we draw that in, we'll know where both of those legs go and about how long those legs are going to be, and the feet. Do the same on this side. Okay, negative space is key on finding the legs on animals. I want them to stop at about the same place. little bit bigger. She's a little bit bigger down here. This negative space where the back leg meets this side, this leg, is going to look something like this. This leg is higher, so that negative space in there is about that shape. You can tweak it a little bit, which means her foot, which is smaller because it's back behind, it's farther away, so it looks just a little bit smaller than the other foot. Otherwise, they're about the same. She actually has a knee here, a little bit of a thigh, and then her little body starts right there. Get rid of all the other lines we're not needing right now that are just going to start confusing us. A little bit of a leg, little width on her leg right there. Notice I'm not even thinking about the spots yet. We'll get the spots in a few minutes. So let's go ahead and work on this leg a little bit. Get some of these lines in here. This is her other leg. You don't see much of anything underneath here, and the best way to draw areas that are very hard to see is just not get in what you can see, but then don't worry about it. Focus on the parts that you can see, and that's what the viewer is going to focus on. They're not going to try to figure out what's going on there. As long as you get close to what you see back there, then it will be believable. Let's tweak this paw a little bit. She has little toes there, and on this side, get our little toes in there. Okay. I think this little ear needs to come out a little farther. And this little ear needs to be a little bigger. It's flopping over, which is why, I guess they're both flopping over, which is why it looks this shape. She has a marking that comes down here. It's dark, it's velvety black. It's very beautiful. Okay, we've got most of her in right now. Well, let's put some toes on this one. And oh, she has a little tail. You can't see it very well, but it's definitely there. All right. Now let's start talking about her fur. She's furry up at her face, and she's just got trimmed, so she's not as furry at the base and her lower part of her body, but there's some fur in there, but mostly spots. Let's start with the fur on the face. When you see fur, just draw your pencil strokes in the direction of the fur. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw the dark and leave the light. There is a little swirl of dark right in the midst of this white, but other than that, this is all very dark. It's even hard to see which way the fur is growing, so we would know which way our pencil strokes were going to go. But we can tell that the white eyebrow goes in that direction. And we can tell there's a little white right here, a little gray there, but mostly dark. So we'll leave the eyebrow white, and we will just draw around it. Put our pencil marks around it. The little loose hairs up there, get those in. Her ears furry, so we'll get most of that in there. It's even hard to see where the contour of the face is because it's all dark. Now this part right here, where the light meets the dark, there is definitely fur there, so let's draw what we see. Let's just not make it furry. Let's actually draw the shapes of the dark against the light. I'm going to go to the other side. A little furry here, furry, little furry mark there, furry mark here, a little bit of white on the cheek. This ear needs to have some fur coming out from it on the edge. If that line right in there didn't get covered up, I'd suggest erasing it, but it looks like we're going to cover it up and it won't be a problem for us. I think she's a little bit wide on the cheeks. I'm going to take them down just a touch. It is furry, and it's white fur, so the background is defining it. But we're not going to draw a background, so we're just going to let our pencil define it with a little bit of fur on the edge. All right, let's talk about these spots. Now, this is a case of drawing what you see, not what you think you see. You think you see spots, so you might want to go like this. This is not going to get you there. What you want to draw is what you see. So it's all white except for some of these spots. Some of them are this shape, or whatever shape they are, you draw them. Some are gray, some are darker. So you can see fur in here, so we're just going to try to put some of those dark marks where we see them. Keep looking and drawing, and you draw what you see. So she actually has this dark, almost like a collar. Do you see that? It's almost like a little necklace around her. So I want to accentuate that. And then there's another little streak of gray that comes down around here. Now her tummy is definitely spotted, but they're not just dots, they're shapes. So we're going to get some of those shapes in, and you don't have to be exact. You just want to keep looking and drawing and looking and drawing, and it will be very close. It's dark underneath here, and like I said, you don't have to know exactly what you're looking at. You just draw it the best you can see and focus on the part that everybody is actually wanting to look at, which is mostly the face. And on her leg, there's more markings on this side. Not as many on this, but there is some fur and swirls. There's a little bit of crease right here where the tummy comes in. You can see it pretty clearly. Same here. There's some dark marks down here, and I know she just had a bath, so that's not dirt we're looking at, but it is shadow. Same. This is a little bit lighter, so I'm going to lighten that just a bit. This is dark area, and on this side it will help highlight this whiteness of the leg. There's a little bit of a crease here, which is actually defines that leg. Okay, we're just about done. Get some markings on her knee. Shade this a little bit so it doesn't stand out as much as these other feet that are in the foreground. Same with this body, behind the front paws, front legs, so that the front legs stand out and not so much the back legs. All right, let's go to the last part, which is the face, and let's get some of those whiskers in there. Her nose is dark, so I think we better go ahead and color that all in. Just make sure nostrils are even darker. And then there's just a few spots around her nose too that makes the nose look a little bit bigger. Might darken up some of this so it's more velvety. It's very velvety dark. She's very pretty. And just tweak it. Clean up your edges. And there you have a little Shih Tzu Poodle mix, whose name is Willow, by the way. All right, Willow, there you go. Got yourself a portrait. Thank you so much for coming. We'll see you next time.